Good morning, YouTubers. 12:22 a.m. on Wednesday, the 27th of February, 2013. Alright, we are doing how Christ is made use for justification as a way. Number 2, there must be some measure of humiliation. Under this conviction, the man is bowed down and made mute before God. No more boasting of his goodness and of his happy condition, no high or great thoughts of his righteousness. For all are looked on now as filthy rags. Isaiah 65:6. And like I said, parallel translation will be the New International Version. Copyright 1984. YouTube, all rights are reserved. Unless I state otherwise, they will be from the New International Version. So, unless I state otherwise. So Isaiah 65:6 says, "See, it stands written before me. I will not keep silent, but will pay back in full. I will pay it back into their laps. What things were as gain before to the soul must now be counted loss, yea, and as dung." Philip 7:8. The man must be cast down in himself, and far from high and conceity thoughts of himself, or of anything he ever did or can do. For the Lord resisteth the proud, but giveth grace to the humble. James 4:6 states, "But he gives us more grace." That is why Scripture says God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. First Peter verse 5 says, "He reviveth the spirit of the humble." Isaiah 57:15 states, "For this is what the high and lofty one says, he who lives forever, whose name is holy. I live in a high and holy place, but also with him who is contrite and lowly in spirit, to revive the spirit of the lowly, and to revive the heart of the contrite. He that humble himself shall be exalted." Matthew 18 verse 4, and this one is the English Standard Version, states, "Whoever humbles himself like this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven." And Luke 14:11 states, and this one is also English Standard Version, "For everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, and he who humbles himself will be exalted." Time. Okay. Number 3, there must be a despairing of getting help or relief out of this condition by ourselves or anything we can do, a conviction of the unprofitableness of all things under the sun for our relief, no expectation of help from our supposed good heart, good purposes, good deeds, work of charity, many prayers, commendations of others, sober and harmless walking, or anything else within us or without us that is not Christ. For so long as we have the least hope or expectation of doing our own business without Christ, we will not come to him. Our heart hangeth so after the old ways of salvation through works, that we cannot endure to hear of any other, nor can we yield to any other. Could we but have heaven by the way of works, we would spare no pains, no cost, no labor, no expense. Nay, we would put ourselves to much pain and torment by whippings, cuttings, fastings, watchings, and the like. We would spare our firstborn. Nay, we would dig our graves in a rock with our nails, and cut our own days. Could we but get heaven by this means? Such is our antipathy at the way of salvation through a crucified Christ, that we could choose any way but that, cost what it would. Therefore, before we can heartily close with Christ and accept of him, we must be but from those refugees of lies, and see that there is nothing but a disappointment written on them all, that all our prayers, fasting, cries, duties, reformations, sufferings, good wishes, good deeds, are nothing in his eyes, but so many provocations to the eyes of his jealousy, and so further causes of our miseries. Time? Yeah, we should be able to do the next one. Number 4. There must be rational and deliberate. There must be a rational, deliberate, and resolute. I did say number 4, right? 4. There must be a rational, deliberate, and resolute relinquishing of all those things in ourselves on which our heart is ready to dote. The man, being convinced of the vanity of all things by which he hath been hoping for salvation, must now purpose to lose his grips of them, to turn his back upon them, to quit them with purpose of heart, and to say to them, Get you hence, as Isaiah 30:22, back to the New International Version, 1984 copyright, all rights still reserved. Then you will defile your idols overlaid with silver, and your images covered with gold. You will throw them away like a menstrual cloth, and say to them, Away with you. This is to deny ourselves, which we must do ere we become his disciples. Matthew 16:24 states, Then Jesus said to his disciples, If anyone would come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For this is to forsake our Father's house. Psalm 45:10, English Standard Version. Hear, O daughter, and consider, and incline your ear. Forget your people and your father's house, and to pluck out our right eye, and to cut off our right arm. Matthew, verse 29 and 30. This abandoning of all our false probes and subterfuge must be resolute over the belly of much opposition within from the carnal and natural inclinations of the heart, and of much oppositions without from Satan's ensnaring suggestions and deceitful temptations. It must be a real, rational act of the soul upon solid and thorough convictions of their unprofitableness, yea, of their dangerousness and destructiveness. And that is where we will stop. Part 2. Alright, my brothers and sisters, I shall return. Peace be with you. I love you guys. Shalom.